Nobody knows that better than Tommy Robinson. In May of this year, he was arrested for attempting to cover the trial of a sexual grooming gang in the UK for speaking out loud on the sidewalk. He was taken to prison with barely any time to muster a defense. He was tried and sentenced to 13 months in jail. Now, after more than 2 months behind bars in solitary confinement, during which time he was attacked by journalists in the UK, almost nobody defended him. But tonight he has been released on bail after winning an appeal. Tommy Robinson joins us now for his first and only interview. Tommy Robinson, thank you very much for agreeing to talk to us. I know that you've spent the last 2.5 months by yourself in a cell, so you're probably feeling a little bit bewildered to be out. Tell us what it was like for you behind bars.
For me, behind bars, the way I was treated, I was taken to a prison with quite a low Muslim population. What I'm known for is criticising Islam, so there's been many planned attempts to murder me and kill me in this country. I was taken to a prison with a low Muslim population of 7%, where things were relatively normal. I was separated from other prisoners, but the prison officers made sure they opened my doors multiple times during the day, and they took me out to play pool and snooker with themselves. I was then taken from that prison and transferred to another prison. And I was transferred to the prison with the largest Muslim population in the UK for a CCAT prison. I was then put on solitary confinement, where I spent 2 months not seeing or speaking to anybody, and they used the reason that I was in danger. Now, they would have had risk assessment before I went there. I was purposely taken to be put in danger so that then that reason can be used to then put me on solitary confinement. And if you think about what has happened in this case, it took a number of hours to take me before court, prosecute me, unlawfully imprison me, and then it took 2 months with the prisons moving me to prevent my legal access, shortening my legal visits, and it took months before I got the opportunity to go before a judge. Once the judge heard what had happened in the trial, we found so many illegal and wrongdoings within this kangaroo court that then it took another 2 weeks before I was freed. And to be honest, this whole encounter, if you talk about, I haven't eaten, I've lost nearly 40 pounds in prison. I had 1 tin of tuna and a piece of fruit a day. I was supposed to be in Her Majesty's prison service, not Guantanamo Bay. I couldn't open my windows because I was having excrement and spit put through them. I believe this whole process, and Tucker, this isn't the first.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but who was putting excrement through your window and spit through your window?
So my prison cell that I was put in was on the lower level, the ground level, which it didn't have to be. So it was on the ground level. So every prisoner would walk past my cell window. Everyone as they walk out.
So when the
windows were open,
that was on purpose.
Every prisoner's
we'll
walking
never
past
know.
the mosque.
Well,
the prison
he's a short guy. We'll put him in there.
So every time, and we've had huge heat waves. I was
Why did I just say short? Well, I'm a tall guy.
And spit
upper levels,
through
higher ceilings.
Through my window. So in the end, I had completely blocked up windows. I had to block up all of my cell windows.
Okay, a viewer warning to all our liberal viewers. You're not going to like this story because we have yet another example of crime committed by illegal immigrants. This is brazen. This time it's coming from the border town of McAllen, Texas, where on Saturday, masked men stormed a jewelry store in a box robbery attempt. As you can see in the surveillance video, at least some of the men appear to be armed. Thankfully, authorities quickly took the men into custody. There were no injuries. According to Customs and Border Protection, all 7 of the suspects were in the country illegally. What a shocker. A fact that the local police neglected to disclose in their initial statement. Joining me now for reaction, Chris Cabrera, a spokesman for the National Border Patrol Council. Chris, I find that it's always like pulling teeth to get immigration status out of local authorities or reporters who are covering these stories. But this was amazing. You have some background information on at least a few of these robbers. Tell us.
Yeah, a couple of the individuals that attempted that robbery had been arrested in California in 2015 for a similar robbery, a smash and grab type operation where I think 10 people went into a jewelry store in the Los Angeles area, and 2 of them ended up, 2 of them from this group were part of that previous group.
And Chris, what I think American people get frustrated by is that these people come into the country illegally. Some of them get arrested for crimes. They do some time in California, then they're released into society because it's a sanctuary state. They're released into society. They're not really deported. Some of them are, but then they come back over. They commit yet another crime. And then they do time here. We pay for 3 square meals a day. we pay for their incarceration, and then perhaps they'll be deported into Mexico. How bad is it right now at the border, and what in your mind has to be done immediately to stop this flow across the country?
You know, I think we need to be tougher on the prosecutions, tougher on the sentencing, and make it a real deterrent against coming over here. Also, we need more agents in the area, on the ground. However we manage to do that, it remains to be seen, but it needs to be done, because right now it's wide open out there, and the American public deserves security along the border.
I have a friend of mine who actually used to work for me years ago, but he works in McAllen, Texas, and he loves the people of McAllen, Chris, but it is, in some ways, it's the Wild West as a border town. Is that accurate?
You know, it's a nice community. It's a great community. There are times where there is crime out here. There's a lot of home invasions. Usually those are done. I guess those are within the drug community. Those guys fighting against each other. But it's just a matter of time before something breaks off. We have had cross-border violence for some time. Unfortunately, the local authorities, whether it's the city or the county municipality, they don't want to admit that we're having spillover violence from Mexico, and it is coming slowly but surely. It's increasingly gotten worse. It's just that people are pretending it's not there.
Yeah, well, Obrador, the new president of Mexico, has got to be told, look, this is going to end. Now, there's no more throughway from Central America through Mexico or Mexico into the United States. It's not going to happen anymore.
Confinement to that. But my medical records are fully aware, that the authorities are fully aware of them, the government are fully aware of them, the prison service are fully aware of them. They know what that did to me. They know what I went through after that. They elite.
But I guess, may I interrupt you? I just want our viewers to understand why this happened to you in the first place. You went to prison in a supposedly free country for expressing unfashionable opinions in public. Did you, with this last round, you've been in jail for 2 months, did you hit anybody? Did you steal anything? Or did you say something the government didn't like?
There was a court case going on where 29 people were in court for gang raping up to 100 young children. Now, I stood outside the court and I spoke, and all I'd done was read a BBC News article that is still online now for millions of people to see. Now, and I was taken, and everyone would have watched the video. They said for a breach of the peace, they transported me to a police custody. Then my solicitor contacted the police custody. Then they emailed my solicitor, which my solicitor has this email, saying I was being released. Then they took me in a van back to the court through the back door. They put me up before a judge. And media reports have said that I pled guilty. At no point was I even asked whether I was guilty or not guilty. I was not even told, and I still, to this point now, have not been told and do not know what it is I'm deemed to have done wrong. In a British court of law, for a fair trial for anyone, they have to understand what it is they're being accused of. Contempt of court. That's all I've been told. What contempt of court? I was fully aware outside that court. I made sure to point out that these men are innocent until proven guilty. I said alleged. I was non-confrontational. There is no, the judges, and I know the law, the judges have no power to issue reporting restrictions on anybody, on any information that is already in the public domain. I was taken and whisked away, and what we've seen this week is the highest judge in our country has completely condemned this as fraud, completely criticised the handling of this case, the kangaroo court style it was to imprison me, and my biggest concern with it is, at this time, that when this has happened and so many people, I say thank you to the Middle East Forum, I thank you to Congressman Gosar, I thank you to Ambassador Brownback, people, I thank you to yourself, Tucker, people who come out, because we know that in this country, anyone who speaks about Islam, you can be completely liberal. The minute you mention, criticise Islam, you are deemed and attacked by everybody.